Okay, I don't know if you can hear me okay, guys. I'm just checking, we're all good? Okay, maybe not. All right, let me just test it. Properties. Okay, all right, we should be good, I'm pretty sure. Except over here, no, all good. All right, can you hear me? Everyone hear me? You set for my ramblings? Sound fine. Ah, fantastic. I wasn't sure whether anyone was on the actual, that's live stream just yet. Loud and clear, good. I just had to change a few settings. I'm getting a bit of a technology guru here. So I got a bit excited with my pictures this morning. I thought they'll give me a good laugh. Old Trumpy doing a wheelie. I don't know if anyone saw that. You can see that there. It's a really big chuckle on that one. I can't remember what else there was. All right, let me just get intraday trading. All good. Brooke, sorry, I haven't had a look through. You've been smashing it. Yeah, okay. So if there's anything, any news-related things that you want to pop up, just especially today. I mean, Trump. I'm a big believer that he's playing around the markets a bit. Let me just forget where I am. He's I think he need to top up his piggy bank. The way he sent markets lower and then come out when they're on their lows, I reckon he's just loaded to the hilt and then tweeted, "No, I'm going to make deals." And the market's just gradually ground its way back up again. So it's funny how it lost say 400 to 500 points and then it made back more on the way up. Yet it hasn't really confirmed stimulus of any sort. It's actually less than what we thought. So the market's still, it's got a one-way mentality at the moment, and it's still going to just keep plugging higher into elections. I think that's the key thing. Is just buy on any news really, let it dip, buy back again. I think that's sort of the mentality at the moment, and just wait for that to see what happens with the elections. So that could just be my cynical nature kicking in, which doesn't happen often. It happens all the time. All right, so let me get myself organised. We've got just making sure I've got everything that I can see yep, on that screen. Now we'll just go through the hangs. Actually, we'll go through the other markets to start with. I'll get them across here. So today, I'm a bit disappointed on that SPY. I took a long in here. I was a bit late. I didn't, for whatever reason. This is the, oops, this is, I can not go too fast. This was a setup that we're talking about in the open. Just, that was just probably, that was the open, wasn't it? 950. So this candle here ramped up at 950 open and really looking for that retest and then that run up. I missed this one, but I did get a hold of this one and then took it off somewhere in here. So it was only a few points really before that run down. But then I was looking at it again here and I didn't take that for some reason. I actually thought maybe, this break of this little minor higher low, but it's that retest of that zone and the way the SPY's been, it starts to show that, it's just flushing out some traders through this low because that's probably the obvious reason I have my stop below here. If I was still in long, I probably would have tightened my stop to break even at least. But a lot of people would have just had it below that low. So that's why the market just takes out that low and then it's found some support again, took out the high. So, it's still got that choppy effect to it. It still wants to be bullish. So that was a little gain in the morning. That's all I've done today. I was looking at gold. Um, where was it? Actually, I got it here, which I don't think is going to play out. I thought that might be, a bit of a base and it's going to take off just through a follow-on in US dollar pressure That's really all I'm looking for, that follow-on US dollar pressure today, because it headed south. So generally you get head south in the European or US session and it follows on in the Asian session, but it's not seemed to find that weakness, that extra weakness today. So I think gold is just been knocked down. Let me just check. I could be lying to you. I'm pretty sure it hasn't really moved. All right, I can't even get it. Why is that deleted now? So I'm just looking on a trading view for my dollar index. All right. So it really it's pretty much gone sideways. It hasn't really moved, but gold seems to be tipping over. So there's a good chance that's where I'll be cancelling it, because I think it could roll over. This is it's not an each way bet, I'd like to say, but it could have found, it's found in finding this zone as a high low, okay, off this level, and it could easily punch up through and drag in some bears, especially if there's US dollar weakness, to push up to 1918, or at least get a bit of a run on. But at the same token, when you look at this action, this bit of a bounce and potentially rolling here, that could also be a lower high. So there's a good chance I'll just be cancelling that, because it didn't kick off like I expected. And there's also a bit of a problem that we could get flush. That's why I've got to stop up here as opposed to just above this high, because it could flush and then drop. I don't want to get caught in the flush if this market's going to head south on gold anyway, because there's a chance, if not so much looking at the US dollar, but looking at, let's take a look at it then. That's not it, is it? Where am I? Where are we? Is that what I want? Yep. Let's go back to here, get myself organized. Was I looking at US dollar? That is also potentially getting a bit of a bid, and that's probably not, I don't think it's as evident there as it is as go and look at the Aussie dollar. Still looks fairly weak, so that's potentially a bit of a selling opportunity. We just see, man, because that could easily get ramped, and it seems to be flipping and flopping between each night. Positive, and then they'd turn around and take some profits off the table tonight. It seems to be no one's willing to hold for too long. There is still some chop in the market. It's still there's a lot of people talking down the US dollar because of stimulus, but the market doesn't react. It factors, and if it's um, factored in stimulus, maybe it's factoring in 2 point something trillion. Maybe it hasn't, or maybe this is the beauty of macroeconomics. We're starting to factor in a bid and win, and that's maybe why the US dollar's been creeping down, because if he wins and gets a bit of a clean sweep, I don't know my politics as well as what I could do. I guess clean sweep, that means they could be pushing through 2.2 trillion. So the market's maybe been floundering between, what are we going to get? Trump's 1.6 trillion or the 2.2. So where should the US dollar be? Should it be up or down? So it's that uncertainty coming into the elections. So stimulus is well and truly the main focus of the market at the moment. But either way, you're just looking at that. If I'm looking at the US dollar for weakness, it may not be playing out. It's just probably been since the open this morning, 8 o'clock this morning. I saw it and thought that could pop easy if we get another ramp lower in the US dollar. But instead, it's starting to, US dollar's probably starting to lift a tad. And that's showing on that Aussie. So I've been talking to short up here. Just didn't get onto it. A lot of this action is, at night. You get this action, and when it picks off, it's ticking off in the middle of the US session. That selling pressure, which was beautiful. You can see a beautiful lower high in here. You've got market pressed up, break that uptrend, retested it, and then failed. And you've got the shoulder on the right-hand side looking really nice. Even got these shorter-term shoulders playing out here, so you can really minimize your risk on that trade. You could have had the break there with your risk up here. Once you saw that, you could have just minimized it pretty quickly. On the break, risk up there, start to take some off the table. If you're still short, great. You're not really risking much, and you've got some profits. There's still that potential for another lower high in here. But it's just you got to look at the strength and the bounces, which is the problem. Generally, the market's going to go. It'll go like this, little minor pullbacks and just go all the way up. Where you've got this kind of action, you don't really, that sort of minor pullback here and then a major pullback here. It's not really what you want to see, but we'll see how that plays out. And the euro, look at the euro. Euro looks, it's getting a bit of a flag. Something in here potentially. Who knows which way it's going to break, to be honest. It could break up. That's why I don't mind Euro such, looking for strength because it's holding off. We've had this press above the level. I think it's about 117, 117.50. Press above, pull back, hold it inside level as opposed to this. Pressed up again, but it's been choppy, so that could easily extend if that US dollar gets sold down. So if they're right about stimulus and looking towards a bid and victory, then you'd expect to start to look towards lows in the US dollar, and that's what I'm expecting. But currencies are sort of in that stalemate at the moment. Let's get on to what I was going to look at now. Actually, I was looking at my coffee. That's better. It's getting cold. Sorry, guys. If you can hear me slurping, I'm really sorry. Now, we'll get back to these markets. So gold. We'll just see. It could easily spike. I don't want to see it spike. I want to see it something like this. I'd rather see a wash low, which we could be now, a bit of a flush, and then drop. So that's flushed and drop. I want to see a flush and spike through that level and just drag in. So what it'll do is potentially drag in some more sellers after this move, drag and then flush. I don't really want to see it flush up and then dump, which it could do. But that either way, that action's a bit choppy at the moment. It's still sort of sideways. Momentum's coming off this low is picking up, but there's a thing you sort of look for, when momentum's coming off like this and it comes back to the zero line. Say I'm just looking at the MACD. And on the MACD, I'm using a 20 and a 50, which is just mirroring the exponentials, the 20 and a 50 exponential moving averages. So I just use that as basically a baseline. Hit the zero line, and then it can bounce. That's just what happens on that bounce. So if you get this bit of a pullback, and last time we're down here, lows, you're sort of looking for a higher low. I mean, that's not a clean one anyway, but you can get my drift if it starts to pick up off that zero line. The same on the reverse side. Momentum's down. You might get a secondary wave down, and if that starts to roll, the momentum's starting to roll, and it's still negative, then that could charge lower. So if it charges lower, there's no harm done. We're not getting in or out. We're not getting out for sure. So we've got an offer zone here at 28,330. So this is sort of your longer term zones. I'm probably gonna have to go back to a 30-minute chart. So was Brooke talking about a debate? So what's happening there, Brooke? I haven't sort of caught up with it. I don't know who's taking over from who. So you can see this zone through here. It's touched on it before. It's been a reactionary zone before from buyers and sellers. Reacted sellers down there. Try to get up here, come in a bit early. Tried here, flushing the zone, straight down again. It's been quite a few times. This delay is killing me. All right. So we've got, it's a VP debate. Okay. It's just your usual chop this time of day, flushing people in and out of the market. So we see that reaction zone there, reaction there again, and we've back in reacted off again. So are we going through or not? That's sort of the key at the moment. So if we go back into the 5, so that's that zone there, it's reacted off before. Are we going to react lower off that zone again, or are we going to charge through? There's a chance that the Dow, just being strong and being focused, into, it could, after last night, it could, it's a stupid say, we could do one or two things up and down. No, I mean, it could, if we start to take out, we could drift lower, but this is sort of the uptrend. If it breaks that, we're looking at a bigger drift or a bigger pullback potentially. But if that sort of zone, it could drift lower into that support like this, and react back up off it. And that will squeeze out some buyers just for the notion that if you're holding from in here and you're sitting on some handy gains, or you're anywhere in this trend up from yesterday, and that starts to roll and take out this little inside level. Now, this is the key anchor to the uptrend. This uptrend here, this is a key anchor. You've had to press higher, flush lower, and it's at 28,130 or thereabouts. So we could easily back and fill, take out this zone, spike down and reject it. And if we reject it, what that do off this lower high could easily drag out some of these buyers, flush them out, and then we could ramp back up again and just continue on a merry way higher. That is the Dow, so keep an eye on that today. The Nikkei, a bit of a chop fest there as well. So this could be pushing higher. Look at that. So we could be looking at a bit of a, probably clean that up a bit. There's an offer zone, sorry, a bid zone through here, which was offer zone, reacted off there, bought back up, reacted off, went through, retested from the upside. It held, and it's starting to head higher. So because it's held pretty much all of yesterday and probably the day before, was it? What day was that? 7th? Yep, no, yep, yesterday. Chopped around, so I pushed through yesterday, retested quite a bit overnight, kept holding. Where's the open? And then lifted last night, sort of into the close of the US. So if that's the case, that little flush lower could lead to just that push up to 23,615. But again, we'll just have to wait and see, if this Nikkei, the Hang Seng gets bolted around on the downside, then I wouldn't expect that's going to last long, that upside movement. Or it could be, it could just flush lower as the buyers get a bit nervous, but the sellers, these buyers get nervous and cut it out, but you might, if the stronger buyers are willing to hold this level at 23,440, it could just be a bit of a clean out of that weak hands up at the top. Now we'll go to Hang Seng. Look at that chop. So the close really was in here, and it's around that level there, this resistance zone here. Okay, so we're up from there, but we're still 25 minutes away from the open. I don't think we're showing the pre-open. It's just people getting a bit nervous up here. And I would expect it's because the index is up into an offer zone as well from the underside. So it could be that it's going to react. The last few days have been quite good. It might react lower, considering the US is up 500-600 points in the Dow. People are probably just looking a bit of profit taking. I wouldn't expect another 500 points up in the Dow, but anything's possible. Depends if Trump's long or not. If he's closed his longs, expect a pullback. If he's still long, expect a bit of a run higher. Expect a few more tweaks to push this market. He's the Twitter king. He's really taken to it, hasn't he? So we've got, where am I? So we've got this pusher here. I'm just going to check. Oh, sorry. I've got a couple of quick. Let me just get rid of that. Can you see a Ninja logo and blue background? Sedge. I'm an idiot, mate. Sorry. And you can hear me, but I didn't do that, did I? Why does that show up? So on TradingView, thanks for letting me know that. I don't know why that wants to do that. No, it's part of the stream for some reason. Yeah, sorry about all that. So you haven't been seeing all this action. Anyway, you can go to the YouTube channel at Trade Setup and you'll see the start anyway. So hang in there, and then I don't know. That's just started coming up the last few days. You wouldn't know how to get rid of that. If anyone doesn't know, I have my camera off, but I've got this blue thing at the bottom of TradingView. Is it a Ninja? It's just showing up for some reason on the stream, which it shouldn't do. It never did before. Yeah, but it's right. It's still there, isn't it? So I can still drag it back and forth, which is frustrating. All right. Sorry about that, mate. So we'll continue on. So the Hang Seng, it's roughly where it closed. So you can see how this action is just going to flush people. It's sort of on the CFD price. I don't know what they're following. It could just pop up, pop down, and it rallies up, back down again. Whether that's getting a bit excited and they flush back into it. Whether it's like starting to watch the pre-open now. So it basically does. It'll start generally about, I think, 12:15 open, and probably start around the 12 o'clock mark, just after 12:05, 12:10 to start moving. It'll be the closer it gets to the open, the CFD price will be the pre-open of the futures market. So we'll go have a look at that now, knowing that they haven't moved much. Now I'll just check the news. Thursday. Uh, just refresh that. I think there's anything out today. China. Oh, great. 12.45. Generally, that'll come out in line. For some reason, they never vary. I'm not accusing them of anything, but those numbers don't vary much for China. They'll come out and say, this is what it was. This is my expectation. So whatever expected is roughly where it's going to be. It doesn't generally come out too far out of line. Then nothing after that. So 12.45, we'll see what happens there. All right, so I want to do this. I want to get the index and futures done on the 30-minute, on the 30. All right, so you can see that we'll go to the index first. That's a big offer zone that we pushed up into. So the longer term, I'll get back to the start of the day and just work backwards. You can see that it's been a massive trend down, been dropping off the cliff and then sort of grind our way back up again. And potentially we're just dropping off a bit now. It's whether or not this is in play, okay, which I suspect it is, which would mean, are we going to see this offer zone in here hold? It could extend easily. I mean, the trend down has got this leg down and basically had a bit of a bounce off that bid zone at that time. It's come back down, so does it respect that zone again and then head south, which would suggest we're not going to get too much of a press higher today. Now, why am I doing it? Streams are good. Yep, good enough, isn't it? So whether we're going to get that sort of a reaction there off that level and then roll. So that's the index, the physical index. That's on a daily. Let's just go back down to the half an hour chart, see what we've got, what levels. So you've got little inside levels. So this is a trend up. You've got inside level. I think it's yesterday's lows after the pump up 13. Oh no, so is that inside level created after that big flush higher? So that was the open, wasn't it? Yep. So that candle there, the open, it tested this level here, 23,897. So on the half an hour chart, that's a support zone. Another support zone holding this leg up, just this current little leg, not the whole thing up, but that's your last. So if it starts attacking the last anchors on the downside, you could expect that a lot of these people that have been buying up here to start to feel a bit of pressure. You might look for, so basically expansion, bit of contraction, and then potentially we're going to go back in expansion. So what's it going to do? Contraction, or is it just going to continue higher? So for now, this is sort of the level holding it up, 24,077. So we'll see if that sticks today, but it is in that offer zone. I mean, it could extend up to 500, 24,500. It's a couple of hundred points up from here, which, for the Hang Seng, is not a lot. It's only, well, you can see 262 points yesterday was 1%. So it could be just another 1% move and then back off. So we'll just see how that goes in the open. We just want to see the action. And it's looking like the futures at the moment. So the CFD's hovering around the close. So if we go back to the futures now, and basically where it closed at, which is interesting, after the US rallied, that's the close. So this candle here was the close. It closed on its high, 239, whatever it was in the index. Basically, the index futures, you can see that was the closing candle. Popped up, finished back down on the futures, and it basically finished there. Flushed down, tried to go a couple of times, but it was capped at this 24,272. So whether it's just getting capped there, and we're going to have another run high on the index today, and we're going to extend that move a couple of hundred points up, we'll wait and see. We might have a bit of a flush lower hold. As long as we're holding above this on the index, we might get a high low form, and then that market charge higher up until 3 o'clock when it closes for that hour. So yes, but that's interesting to note. We had that bit of a flush lower. Interesting to note that it's basically finished where it did at 7 o'clock now, when the index closed. So it hasn't really done much. Whereas we just change. You look at the Dow from here. Look at the Dow, the run up. So the Dow's basically charged up 27,890, 903 to 350 points, and it's still holding that. So if that's the case, I mean the market didn't react well. It closed here. I think that was a 6 o'clock close, and the market closed at 7 o'clock. I think the futures closed at 7 o'clock on the Dow, and then it's overnight. So it didn't really move from there. So that was basically the close there. So the futures on the Hang Seng really didn't do anything overnight. It was just chopped around, went sideways when this US was just charging higher. So in saying all that, let's get that up. Saying all that, it'd be interesting to see whether the Hang Seng looks at the index. Well, we haven't reacted. The futures haven't reacted. Are they going to charge higher, with the index, or is this a sign of some weakness to come? Because again, this futures is at that. Let's go to the daily. I might have this a bit messy, but we'll see. You've got same sort of scenario. Had this little run high. This is on the daily chart. Longer term, it's just been easy enough, easing down. That's since the highs back in 2018. Highs, lower high, potentially this lower high in here, inside lower high, which led to the break of this support zone, which has been tested a few times. Like the index, a bid zone here, reacted off, went through. Are we going to react down off that, or are we just going to charge through and react back off it on the downside? So there's a chance that with all this action, we've still got this uptrend in force. It doesn't mean we can't, pull back sort of a couple of 100 points and still remain intact and react off this zone, maybe pull back to here and then charge up. But either way, that you can see this sort of downtrend as well, got a bit extended. We've just broken that. So really, it's not really any confluence either way. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the open in, say, 15 minutes or so. So that's it. I think we've got this level if the index opens around here. We'll go to the 5-minute now. That's not, I want the index. It's not the index, it's Nikkei. So you could get that index, get to the 5s. So I think Dow just took a bit of a dive. I think the Hang Seng is going to open roughly. Here we go. So it's about where it closed. It doesn't look like they're too excited. So I don't think that's just the CFD price. I think the Dow is just sort of hovering around here. Could be a good little spread trade. Buy one, sell the other. So which one do you buy and sell? You go and sell you go and say the spread, I think, is wide, and say, just for example, on the same, just talking about the Dow and the Hang Seng, roughly the same price. What we used to do I was a broker years ago, do a spread trade on the mini futures in the US, ES, and the SPY. I think it was one SPY for 2E mini, and just short one by the other. But it got to do with the futures close at 4 to 4:30. What happened there? If we were extending the E mini hadn't worked, you expect that sort of that pullback on one compared to the other. So that was a spread trade. Now whether that did work quite a bit, but there's times when you just get having it's completely wrong for whatever reason. One market you're short, one market that goes up, and the other one you're long and it goes down. You just get it completely wrong, and it's hard when you win quite often. Smaller chips, when you get that big loss, it sort of wipes out a few. So it worked okay, but it was it wasn't the world's best. You still have to be biased. I think in any market you have to have a bias of one way or the other. So you still got to be biased at spread trade. You can't just go if it widens out or go sell one and buy the other, expect them to come back in. Sometimes they just keep widening. There's that disparity between the two economies. Now, so what I was saying is the Hang Seng and the Dow, if you went and short the Dow, because it's just what we're talking about, the Dow rallied when the Hang Seng did nothing, and you bought the Hang Seng, the Dow could do nothing now, and you short that, and you're long the Hang Seng, which could fall, because we're just discussing this pushback off this offer zone. So don't necessarily expect, as that looks okay, I wouldn't particularly trade it anyway. I don't trade like that anymore. It's more directional. levels and all that sort of thing. So Dow's just it's just holding around this offer zone until the Hang Seng opens. The Nikkei's, yeah, there you go, just charging higher. What's the SPY doing? It's probably higher. Gradually setting into that trend. The index, look at that. The index is quite powerful. And the daily, this is on the ASX 200. That daily's quite strong, isn't it? So that break yesterday, so I was getting bearish, not so much full on bearish, but you're just looking at that action there. We'll drill down that. You can see that action there. I expected something to happen off that level. Okay, we're a bit extended. We've tested a few times. A good offer zone at 62. Expected some sort of pullback off that level. We got it, but that's not a pullback that's overly negative. It's just a big flush because everyone, if it's not going to go through that level, bear's going to come in, but it gets soaked up quite nicely. Okay, you can just see a couple of down days, a couple of up days, a down day. That big down day was met a couple of up days, couple of 2 up days, and then another big down day. So you can see that action there. Then it's a couple in a row. You can see these. There's one after another, 4 down days here, but it wasn't sudden like it was. And then a couple of. Then we started turning a good, solid, strong up day, which we hadn't seen for a little while, probably earlier on. A red day, down day, then that was washed off by another up day. And you can just see that the way this action was down, it wasn't overly bearish. It was just, a good old-fashioned pullback. So whether now, the fact that we retested, we had a big day, this was the candle that had me thinking, okay, I reckon we'll go through 62 or 6,000, sorry, and we did that yesterday. So that break of 6,000, we could easily be back at 6,200 in a day or so. Just the way this market is, and again, see what happens, react off that 62. Or this could be longer term, what's going to drive the market up to the previous highs. I mean, everyone else has regained, well, apart from Europe, I guess. Everyone else is brushing aside any negativity, and we're back at the US. The Dow's probably the only one that hasn't traded to all-time high since the sell-off. The S&P did, the Nasdaq did. They're potentially looking like they're going to ramp back up again. Let's just go and have a look at those while we're at it then. So S&P, go to a daily. This trend is weighted higher. We were looking at this for quite a while. Let's just clean that up. So this is sort of what we're looking at, like how that broke down. But it broke down if you were, like I said, if you were looking at also that at this stage, we broke down here and you go, okay, the world's over. We had this big sell-off. We're going to go again, and then bang, up we go. Could be the same sort of scenario. Is that going to be your longer term sort of a channel? Make sure I delete that and just show you what I'm talking about. If I can find my channel thing. Oh no, forget about it. Oh no, parallel channel. It looks slow when I see these things. It's going to be that sort of thing, whipping the lows, charging back up, and we've got a big bullish move on our hands. So you got this sort of the inside channel broke down. So whether or not we're starting to see a bit of a press higher, might just continue to charge higher. Well, we'll see. I've got a button there. It's a magic button that I don't know anything about. Yeah, so that's your Dow, the S&P, and it's probably been held up by, we've got this level here, obviously it's just touching on now 34.25, which could be, if you probably drag that back, that's the zone. For here, maybe we're going to react back off that again. These were the highs in the sell-off, pulled back, went through them, failed there. We're back up there now. We're just going to brush those aside and keep charging higher. When's the elections? November 2. There's enough time to, month and a half away. If that's the case, if we just focus on those elections and stimulus, I wouldn't expect Trump to do anything stupid. Well, apart from talking up a no stimulus and the market sinks, he's backed that up. He's supported himself. Whether I don't think he's going to do anything stupid into the elections or anything stupider. I wouldn't expect. Well, we didn't He's just keeping his mouth shut, really, isn't he? Which is fair enough. Um, don't know whether, I mean, that could just, I sort of expect that to pop higher just to get through it. Just the way the market's unreasonable bullishness, I would say, but we'll see how that goes. It's the Dow, Nasdaq, same sort of thing. It's got a level just in here, which we didn't get that weakness off that level. It's still more than anything else. You can see it's holding this MA, it's holding here. You probably expect a break soon and a lift to, well, maybe up to those highs again. Seems to be the bubble continues to hold into tech, even though whether it's the US come out, I don't know. I mean, I haven't followed it. It could mean nothing, but even with a bit of negative press from, was it the I don't know what you call it, the investigation into the top tech names, whether they're, I wouldn't say colluding. What's the words? Someone probably know more than me, but that investigation, them, are they too big? Are they, too much weighting into the indices? Because, if this is a bubble, they burst, four of them or five of them could drag down the whole market, literally can drag down the whole market, especially at this time. But I mean, they're still holding in there. There's still, the bubble ain't bursting anytime soon, I wouldn't think, the way they all rallied last night. So it was strengthened to them last night, wasn't it? Tesla up 2.7%, Netflix 5.6%, AMD 2.6%, Apple 1.7%, Google didn't perform very well, only 0.5%, Amazon 3%, Facebook down 0.2%. So that was that's a bit of a poor showing from them. So yeah, you can see they're all sort of holding that MA though, the HMA. Google's holding it, Apple holding it, potential for a swing up. So it's coming to play with that Nasdaq holding it as well. It could just pop up through that high. It looks like it could. I mean, if it takes out tonight or tomorrow, it takes out 11,233, which is a couple 100-point drop, or even touch lower. Probably the key levels at 11,224. Just this inside level through here. Draw it. It's probably going to be hard to see. You can see that level. If it takes out that level, we could be heading back down. It could be, getting a bit more serious on the downside. But for now, we'll wait and see. So that's pretty much it. The DAX is not looking too, it's not too crash hot. It's sort of more range bound than anything else. It could just push back up to 13.2, back up to the highs. ASX looks set to go to the highs, especially if the Nasdaq and the US breaks out again. Set to test up to these highs. The UK is not looking too crash hot. That is more grinding low. That could probably have a lot to do with Brexit and uncertainty there. They haven't figured anything out yet. So that could easily go anyway. You've got this press down, recovered, this grind down, as opposed to this is a bit more, some negativity in there, but buyers are happy to step in, so it could pop again. Or it could roll. I mean, obviously. So it's really just, we get down to these support levels, could be just a bit of buying opportunity up towards this top end of that range or that zone, maybe selling opportunity, but it's not looking as good as, say, the other markets. There's still a few headwinds to get through, but I figure that'll be sorted in the next couple of nights, with the NASDAQ and the Dow. If it does nothing tonight, or backs off, we were sort of at the critical level. So it might show its hand tonight. Let's go back to the 5. So the market's going to open in a couple of minutes. Can't see in there. Dow's not doing anything. Nico looks intent on getting to that high 6-1. Hopefully I can do it in the next couple of minutes. They'll probably spike up and then down they come. Maybe a little bit of weakness coming into. Just clean all this up. It's not that fast, is it? I was having so many problems. I think I've got to do defrag. Does anyone know anything about that? Defrag or something like along those lines on the computer. Okay, so Hang Seng's going to open in a couple of minutes. Doesn't seem to be the crash hot open that we might have expected. What am I on? Here we go. Oh, is there? Sorry, but it could be figure that out. No, it's just the fact that I'm doing too many different things. I've closed things down. Let me just check. Seems to be the internet, and it should be fast enough to handle it. I think actually, so the download speeds, it's not the greatest upload speed, is it? Which has got to come through. So I think that's the issue, and I'm sending to YouTube and TradingView and talking and sending off to Discord. So figure that out, don't we? Okay, let's just see. Oh, God, it got hammered, didn't it? God, that's a quick spike lower. Big spike lower. So right into that support zone there. Dow not moving. Might close my spot gold chart. I don't want too many things coming through. Close the SPY. Oh, it's not even moving now, so there's a whole lot down. Sorry, guys. When I actually close this, it just sucks in a lot of data. It's still buffering a bit, Pete. It's a big flush lower, which What else? What the Dow? See if this sort of can hold in here around the stone and just pop up. Might still be determined to get out those lows. So just got to watch this level. I mean, if this can't hold, there's a good chance that the market's going to be a bit of a negative day today. It's trying to push, isn't it? So it's still attacking those lows, which is a where are we on the index? It's going to open 10 minutes or so. So we close up here. It's worth a little nab on a small amount just to see if we can take out that candle low. Sorry, candle high. As soon as you want to have a bit of another push higher. Still hanging pretty. Still wants to chip away at those lows. So what does it mean for the index? Keep an eye on that 5 minute. Aussie is it's really flushed that level, hasn't it? So this 5 minute candle is going to close. Still looking to see. I mean, it's a bit of a mess. We want to see if that can hold and start taking out some of these higher highs in the candles, and just see if we can get some sort of higher low to work off. If not, when it's already trending down, so to see what that index does. So you would suggest that the index is going to open lower. The Hang Seng's here on the left hand side. So the futures are right down here. There's a close on that. Okay, which is around this area in here. Unless it continues to grind, so it's taken out a few of these higher lows in here. It's still the key levels down at 079, which is not that much further down, to be honest. So the index might be primed to sort of gap down through here, and then we'll just see if we can lift back up to the highs. Oops. Is that 24,110? No, assume so. Yep, okay. All right, what's it showing up there for? Extended at the moment, obviously. See if this can provide sort of hold up a bit. just out there doing ramp high, just see where this index can open in about a minute and a half. Minute. Not out of the woods yet, exactly. Nothing so far. So you sort of want to see on this, like we saw yesterday, that bit of a pop higher and then a pullback and high low hold. See if we can sit on the EMAs. At the moment, the 5 minutes looking like that. You know, that's extended, but it's not turning at all. Could expect some sort of pop back up to here. $166. So the index just open and it's heading down to that zone. Oh, it's down here. There we go. I think this computer's a problem. I've got my laptop showing it as well. So it's slammed down to that zone. There we go, taking that out. Buyers might be off the card, you guys. So potentially going to a lower level, 279. We'll just have to see down here. We're about there now, aren't we? Anyone managed to get short that? I didn't. I was looking for more of a bit of a buy. So we've got to see now if that zone can hold up. That's a future, so don't worry about that. That's actually lower than that now. Let's just not worry. Let's just put this. Oh, not really. There's no, well, I want to see if it turns. I want to see if it can actually, so it's sort of the index. If the index pulls up off that level, which is the anchor level to that yesterday's uptrend, then yeah, maybe, but this is not looking like it's a buy. Well, it's definitely not a buy. But also don't want to be selling this into that extended move when the index is down into that support zone. So I'm kind of just caught, I guess. Sit around just watching it for now. I think it's still buffering, isn't it, on YouTube? Yeah, it was that initial pop down. Boom was saying here, I didn't. That sort of grind up is not what you want to see. You want to see, well, if you want to see a bit of a pop. Let's just go back to yesterday when it did the same. Was that it? That's not it. Here. Don't go back that far, mate. Yes, that was the move down, wasn't it? So that was that move down. So you more want to see or I do anyway. It's sort of, we got this chop down, which we're probably getting now. A good strong move. A good strong move up, sort of takes out these MAs, they cross, and then we pull back and the MAs are up, essentially. So I've changed it yet, and I've just still got the 20 HMA. But if it sort of sits there and it starts to sit on there, then we can take the break off that higher low. And you want to see, well, I don't think the MACD is going to be, but the MACD momentum down is slowing. Just get back to where we are. It's sort of, the index is still, it's bouncing off that level. This down there, you've still got this level anchoring it down at the moment on the one anyway. There's 5. It's probably the same level, isn't it? 128. Yep. It's that 5-minute, start of the 5-minute candle, which is this one, which is flushed out. So yeah, if we start to get a bit of a lift up here, see what happens on a pullback. See if we do get a pullback. I mean, sometimes the market's just going to go pop. But at the moment, see how it's sort of grindy up. This sort of grindy, actually, we could easily flush out these lows again. We're not, okay, saying that, it's just starting to, that little pop could be suckering in a few buyers too. It's still holding the MAs down. The trend on the 5 is still down. It's not, you know, it's not turning, is it? Let's see what happens here. Now on the index, we're just coming to another little minor level, back up to minor level, just retesting it from the underside. See that there when it comes on. There we go. So I've got that marked up. It doesn't really mean too much at the moment. That's not going to mean anything. Okay, so we've gone through that anchor. Let's just see. I don't want to see that 5 just charge higher, which is probably going to, isn't it? Oh no, he's not, is he? Yeah, they've loaded him full of something. Get on there, get his bully pants on. Who's he? So is he debating? Is it? It's not now, is it? Is it now? I'm moving there. Might just. Hmm. Still a bit of a whip fest, isn't it? So this sort of push down, you'd want some sort of complex correction. You don't just want to see it jam straight up again. And there's numbers out too, isn't there? Is it 45, 1245? Yeah. This 5-minute candle is going to finish. Doesn't look like it wants to go anywhere near those highs, does it? Where's gold? Gold is yeah, it's hovering. Yeah, gold's drifted low and had a bit of a pop. So the index is heading down. It's back into the lows. Index is sort of heading back into the lows from the open at that 2407T zone. Still dropping, so whether we hold this up. So that's just flushed that anchor little level, kept it up on the 5, and now it's looks to be extending that move. But I don't want to be trading short here because I just think we're going to flush that low. Which there we go. All right, so we just have to, I guess we just have to wait around. Was it practice patience? So the shorts could be concerned. I mean, you're taking it sort of short in here, you push through that low, I mean, it could keep going. I just don't see. The 5-minute looks okay. The way we sort of looking at it is just they can keep below this 20, so that's the 20 HMA. And it kept below there. It's just flushed a level. It's below that. It's potentially just flush in these lows and trying to lift back up again. So could be that it's trying to put in a bit of a base in here. Don't know yet. Yeah. Let's go back to the futures and see if we've got anything. All right, so that's the index. So we just got this level here. I think like Brooke was saying, from what we got here, push down a break at that level, a significant break, obviously, at 76, leads you down to 900, so 70 points on the index. It could easily go. Or you might find that it just falls short in this, where it's broke before, a bit of a zone in here, which would be, can I add? I can't add, can I? 924. Oh God, my mass is really bad. So that's 170 points down here, or 70 or so to this zone, which it could be on its charge now, isn't it? The futures index itself has really got not much support. That's not good. So this is quite delayed. Why is it not even moving? I have to shut it down again, right? Look, for anyone that's just listening through YouTube, I'm just going to close down my YouTube window, so I won't be able to see any of the questions. But yeah, sorry about that. Otherwise, you can just jump onto Discord if you've got that. So I'll close it down, just try to free up some movement, free up some of my computer, take the pressure off. Really struggling. Same prices everywhere. Maybe it's just this browser really just locking up. So that's moving. We'll just duplicate that chart. It's going to tell me it's not going to work. It's heading south now. No. Look intent on getting it lower. I'm just hoping I haven't missed that shorting opportunity. Yeah, not easy to short into support. So the algo says just chop, chop, down, 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 get down, boy, get down. As we can see, that one's still moving down. You can't freeze too, can you? I guess you can do whatever you want. This is becoming a real problem. I have to. The SPY's pushed high. We've got the Dow is still stuck at that offer zone, and the Nikkei is, I think it's just grinding higher, whereas Hang Seng doesn't want to do that. It's on a bar of it at the moment. Oh, what were those figures? What? I just looking at the wrong day. Ah, I was looking at Friday. Forget about the numbers out in China. Current accounts, not worry about that then. All right, so we're starting to get a bit of a lift here, are we? The old Dow looks like it could be a bit of a pop. Nikkei's ramped back up to that resistance zone we were talking about. And SPY just keeps trotting on higher. Okay, this is not the world's best action either for any form of long. It's got to hold in here. Watch this little pop up through that level. Oh god, it's going to go. The Dow just popped. It's going to go long. I think the Nikkei. No, sorry, we're talking about Hang Seng. Yeah, looks like the market's just popping. It may be very premature, but the Dow just took off. If we don't get a run on back up to here, then the index is just popped as well. I don't want it to get below this low, obviously. Dow just flushed, just ramped, so very premature there. Always conscious of these sorts of things that pops. It's going to be a news event that we don't know. If it doesn't kick on the next candle or so, I'll see it back up here. What level is that? So I'm going to stop just below this candle. We'll see if that it's not particularly going, is it? Yeah, it is. So it'll probably be out in a second. Doesn't look like it's going to do anything. Get on Twitter again, mate. Come on. Right, so I can lift up. Oh, no, struggling. Just hasn't put any pressure really on those shorts just yet. Bit of a pop, but there's sellers come back in. So, I want this candle to be just take out that high. Otherwise, it'll be over Red Rover. don't think it's going to happen. I think you're right. It's a very weak premise for a bit of a pop, but give it a shot. So I've just closed it out. I got in just here, closed it out a couple of points. What? A couple of points down. So yeah, it may just need the flush. But either way, this where's my 5 minute? Oh, you cannot do that to me, can you? Let's see if they can stick around. So the five's looking a bit more constructive. It's just that it's still choppy on the one, and probably was expecting that. The Dow's Nikkei's popped. The Dow can go again, can it? Just trying to go. What's the Dow doing? Nothing. So I suspect if this can hold in here, that's the low. We could jam higher. I just want to see if it can push up. Break up through here, I'll go long. Or maybe it won't. It's proven to be a difficult day again today. Just a bit of chop. Maybe that's it. Market wants to go down. It's probably getting buoyed by Trump. It's resilient. No, it's not happening today, is it? Don't want to be short off that, but look at the Dows. Dows it's popped and it's just stopped. And Nikkei's popped. SPY just continue grinding higher, and the old Hang Seng is not wanting a bar of it at the moment. It's just selling into that. It's giving us anything, is it? So now the Dow's starting to sort of edge lower. The Hang Seng's going with it, maybe dragging it down. The index is still toying with that support, which is interesting. Or is it toying? Are they actually just going to break? Thought that might actually start forming a double bottom, but it's going to probably not. Just breaking through now. Right. Okay, I'll do it. Yeah, not much there, is there? Just watching this to see if we could, this starts to hold a double bottom, but not liking this as much. It's got easy just book. I wonder if this is just suckering a few buys and then it holds this sort of minor lower high and then jams down. The index is holding, it's holding within this, well, this candle in here. It's just doesn't mean a lot. It's not a double bottom as such. It's just trying to put in the work to build a base, but see if we can attack that high. Maybe not. Very, very. No, it's not doing much. See if we can actually do something off these lows. No. All right. So that to me doesn't look like a short, and that's certainly just an absolute mess at the moment. It's just going to drop like a stone in a second. It's not going up. The index itself is. Popcorn time. Still nothing. I thought we might have lifted off there, but that's just a minor, very minor signal. But straight back down again. There's nothing. Maybe it's trying to fight back. Come on, boy, fight, fight. Well, don't fight. See, the index might just be trying to hold this sort of level, but also, I mean, this could easily just pop through these lows, but it seems to be getting popped. Just held up off those lows for now. Bit of chop around that zone, which makes it hard to figure out which way we could get a long or a short. That move down could easily thump down a lot more. It's time 119. So here you get the MA starting to flatten out, but it's not giving anything at the moment. It's not, pushed out here, suckers in a few sellers, push up, suckers in a few buys. I think you're right. Could just be that 14 minutes until that finishes, but might be trying to lift, but index itself. For O. Just looking at the look at a 30-minute. Well, it's extended away, which you would expect a bit of back and fill, but it could just as easily go down through that low at 37 or so and power down. I sort of expect if that breaks, we could power down through that level down to here. Whether he's winning the debate. Dow's chopping around. It's put in a 5-minute green candle, but it's just flushing lower again, which it does. It'll just chop around like a yo-yo, that one. I want to see if this can stick in here now. That it's not going to draw, is it? I think my computer's put in a bit of a stop work meeting. You can see the support through here. I just want to see if that can stick, but this is not. It's not strong. It's still grinding up. Some buyers might jump in. It might just squeeze them. So we're just doing this until it decides to move. The index is about 24,100. It's just popping up there now. There you go. We'll squeeze them out again. It's just as easy to be a short. Oh, I was just telling you about the Dow. Go look at the Dow. I'll probably a chart here. I can just grab up. Not to crush anything, but the Dow's just dropping like a stone. It's of course if it actually loads up, all right. Look at that. So I was just saying I put in a green bar and I probably sucker in a few people and just donk. Good things these are. If you're looking at that one, this little pop up here, you've got this little move down, you just want this high low, break it at the next 5 minute candle, and then instead it's just rolled, bit of a flush. Saying that, the Hang Seng's not, overly worried about it. This 1 minute chart on this. So that there was grinding low, get this little pop up here on the 5 and then drop. Of course, they might probably rally from here. Dow's just plays funny buggers at this time of day. I wouldn't want to think the Hang Seng's just going to flatline for the next hour or so. Hour and a half and give us nothing. The Dow there. But there's this flush sort of thing and then grinding back up again. Yeah, no, it's a very grindy. Remember yesterday we had the big run, and then so the index sort of started, it gave up some of that, obviously the gains, and then did nothing much after that. There was no real entry after that with any oomph anyway. So whether we're just was it 130 now, an hour and a half still, but whether the market's got no oomph at the moment. It seems to be sort of waiting around to see what the US does at night. I'm worried that move down was sort of the move to get onto, but probably a touch harder than what I expected. There was no real setup on the downside. Well, that flush there, I didn't expect that move down. I'm expecting more of a pop here, but down was still holding, didn't go anywhere, so nothing's really going anywhere at the moment. So that the Dow is so let's see here, we could just chop around. We haven't taken out support. We fluff through that high there. Dow's moving a bit, but nothing, it's not the Dow, where's the other one? There's notorious these spikes lower flush and they just ramps. I mean, I was watching this sort of that's to me is not a high low off that action. If that spike down, I don't see there's a high low to buy into because none of you, you're just sort of against the flow. Um, no momentum up. I mean, this was out of contraction. It just popped. It caught people off guard. I don't think that was really a solid entry. If you just had a buy stop there, you could have got chopped like you did the last few times. Um, Hang Seng's not doing too much. Nikkei, where is Nikkei? Nikkei's just backing off. It sort of pushed through highs and it's backing off now. SPY's sort of caught sitting around with suckling its thumb. Just hold on to the highs. And where it's going to get absolutely zero on now. And see how the Hang Seng it gets down to the lows and it starts giving it a nudge. It's just testing, probing. That probe turns into a short, but I feel if it's going to turn into a short, it's just going to drop. So unless you do a sell and stop here, um, which could easily be a flush, I'm not seeing any reason to sell that after this action. So the index itself is just testing its lows, but it's down 0.8%. 200 points. The Dow might just pop again, but wouldn't be confident in going too far. Nice, Bobby. Oh, is that on the SPY? Is that? No, it's not. It's the Hang Seng. Yeah, it's a bit of a chop machine at the moment. Just wondering if this could break down from here and give another flush lower on the Dow. It's struggling up here. God, these wicks lead you to believe that something's going to happen on the upside, but does anyone know who was meant to have won that debate? Or was he just yelling again? I think the Dow could potentially just pull back, fall. I want to see if it retests those lows, but it's not. Wouldn't look good for the Hang Seng. A little pop there on the. Is that going to go anywhere? It's not a setup. The MA is going down at pop, so it's more of just. I'm a big believer in algos. I think they know exactly what looks good. As long as they've got some churn in the Not seeing anything else, to be honest. Anyone in anything at the moment? You'll probably see this Dow grind high and then slam down again. So what's my suspect with these guys? You've got to cross the highs, it's just broken that, and that would dragging some buyers and they just turn around, bang. Problem is if you're going to go long, it could be stuck in a grind. You don't know if you're going to go short. You don't know where because it'd just be all of a sudden. So what I was looking at before, you had this move, so it just faked out not too bad, and it just popped up and then slammed down. So now if you go there, there's a chance it's just going to do the same thing because that slammed down and just flushed out a lot of people. Whether we're going to get up to here and then slam down. I mean, we could just keep going. This is not, if it's going to go, it's going to go like that. Um, you would think at least get a couple of candles where it does something, but right now, yeah, it's not. The Hang Seng, I think it's gone to sleep. Where's your popcorn? Index is still on the lower highs. The Dow, you watch this. I've got the heart to short that, but this could be on. Oh, I can't draw it. You go away. Look at I was just looking at the bit of divergence there. We've got through that low. There's always going to be some form of squeeze on these guys. It's a down, just flushing up and down. So now that move has just taken out a few highs through here. Just trying to see. So it's just spiked through on the Dow. Anyone looks at trading the Dow, spiked through these highs, which could easily lead to a bit of a sell-off here. We'll see if they can spike down. Look, it may not go anywhere, just keep chopping around. I mean, if you went long there, you'd be a bit nervous. So hopefully that's going to be a bit of the case. Doesn't look like they're going to. Maybe just no follow through of that. So Hang Seng's just pushed down. I missed that. No. I think if it breaks down here, it could go maybe just to test these lows, or maybe it's just a bit of chop trying to hold it up here. But I think we need to squeeze these guys out. See if we can ramp it down on these. We'll probably go short if it extends down through 70. Just see. Nikkei's hit, sorry, Hang Seng's heading south, so Nikkei's popped, SPY's popped. Yeah, it's not really doing anything, is it? Might just want to hold this level in here. Take that low. So it might just be wanting to hold that, but it's gonna have to go soon. No one's buying it off that. No one's selling it to that level, are they? Hang Seng's tipping over. Okay, so more chop within these markets. So me, it just seems like a lot of flushing out. Set up, flush, set up, flush. Yeah, maybe our time zone is just a tough one to trade at this moment. Any stocks? Oh, I'm not looking just at the moment, Vin. So, you got anything you want to look at? I know it's gone. I might have to call it a day. Oh, so just getting ready to see. Maybe we get through that level, but I think it's just going to be this sideways snaky action. You can easily do. You can see what can happen here. It gets down there. It looks good, and then it pauses. Still getting rejection on the Hang Seng. Look at that. The index doesn't look any good. I think we just got to just squeeze in lower. It's not intention on dropping like a stone, but see this Yeah, so just watching the Dow again. Just level through here. Whoops, daisy. It hasn't broken. Really, it's flushed it, but it's still got to, it's got to do something on the upside to a bit of a squeeze. But just thinking if this Dow falls, it's not going to go anywhere. You wouldn't think anyway. So it looks like it's the move, but it's the Dow still whipping both sides of the market. Glad I didn't go short there. God. So the Nikkei's like pushing up. Um, SPY's pushing up, which it does. It's above 61, 61.12 or thereabouts. But these two markets are not moving. I'm very surprised there's nothing happening on the Hang Seng. Anyway, it's probably stop and then the market will kick off. Talk about a complex correction. Relatively boring correction, really. So that looks to me on the 5 a bit top heavy on the Dow. But I mean, that's just a flick down. You can take out some of these lows and bounce straight back. It always bounces back enough. Like this push down, if you got short in here, it's bounced back more than enough to get stopped. You got short somewhere at 67, 30 or so points stop in the Dow. I think it's quite big. It's just giving zero, and the index is giving This is giving 0 as well. It's really flatlined. Dow's got it sussed. They're not. So this is just hovering around that trend line. Could be breaking, but do this like I'm going to just did here. Poke, 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 dunk. So rip that back up again. All right, I think I might just call it a day there, guys. There's nothing happening. I wouldn't be surprised if this 0 happens into the close.